UNLV's women's teams are dominating scoreboards. We have that and your campus updates on today's show.
We also take a look at some exotic pets, Netflix updates, and a house that lights up every year in December.
Studio G starts right now.
You don't get to do an internship, you have to do an internship. It's one of the requirements for a journalism major. You have to do an internship before you can graduate.
Definitely having an internship as a requirement really helps push yourself out there and to just remind you that your graduation is coming up soon.
Good afternoon, Rebels. I'm Karina Perez.
And I'm Amber Michael. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Studio G.
To start today's show, we want to thank everyone who participated in our picture share. We asked all of our viewers to hashtag UNLV Holiday to show us how they enjoyed their Thanksgiving and told them we would share their photos in our live show.
Well, the time has come. Here are different pictures of people who watch and contribute to this broadcast. You will be able to see more later on in the show, so if you didn't see yourself yet, don't fret.
And now we want to take a look at our weather. How's it going, James?
It is going wonderful. Let's go ahead and take a look at what's happening outside right now. 57, of course, is our high, while 34 is our low. We're experiencing those mid to high 50s for the rest of the day. When those 30s are getting a little bit colder, just like Johnny Cash always said, it's beginning to look a little bit like Christmas. But let's go ahead and take a look at our picture for today. This is the GOES-R satellite, an $11 billion piece of property from the U.S. government that's going to be taking a look at the entire world for the weather forecasting and the valley as well. And speaking of the valley, let's go ahead and look at our 4-day forecast. Now, we've colored in Friday and Saturday here just to let you know that we are experiencing not only a wind advisory for those days, but also a chill warning. So just make sure you dress extra comfortable and extra warm for those days. 57 all the way over to 59 for Sunday, but let's go ahead and take a look at the valley forecasts from Centennial all the way down to Boulder City. We're experiencing about a margin of 7 from 45 to 52. Not much change if you're going around the valley. The one place you do want to take a look at, though, is Boulder City and Nellis. Right now, Boulder City is experiencing a wind advisory from this afternoon till tomorrow evening. So just make sure that if you're down there in Boulder City, going down the lake or the park to see the bighorns, that you just dress warm. But let's go ahead and take a look at the country altogether. As you can see, we have a little bit of snow in the northern Rockies, all the way from Alberta down to Utah, and a little bit of snow, just a little bit, down in the Sierra Nevadas. So that's a little wonderful gift for Christmas time, or first day of December. But down in Tornado Alley, we of course are experiencing that perfect tornado weather that they're experiencing, just absolutely horrible. But for the rest of the East Coast, we're experiencing rain and a couple thunderstorms, so that's what you expect now December down in the south. But that's it for our weather for today. Let's go ahead and take a look at our break, and we'll be right back after this.
It's your boy Miles Lowe.
It's your girl Scribe Cash.
My name's Fabian Stefan.
Perpetual Player One.
And I'm your host, Brandy the Prince Madison.
My name is Haley Rogers.
From the Miles Lowe Midweek Show.
Your Scribe Cash radio show.
You can listen to Pixel Jam.
Press start to play.
And this is the Takeover.
Rock on Rebel.
On KUNV HD2.
From the RebelHD2.com.
I'm Kylie O'Rourke.
Shervin Mushuri.
I'm Langston Carter.
Hi, I'm Holly.
My name is Anna.
My name is Jameson Wilk. Window on the Middle East.
Spinning Indie.
Good News with Holly.
It's Jazz and a Touch of Soul.
It's Latin Nights with Anna.
The Rebel and Revolt Show.
And you can check it out on therebelhd2.com.
UNLV has lost a candidate, even though that isn't good news. That's one of the only things we've lost lately. Women's sports is dominating the scoreboards right now. Kaylee Kirby with the story.
The UNLV football team had their last game of the season this past Saturday against our rival up north, Reno. Although after a long game, the Rebels were not able to keep up with the Wolfpack, losing 45-10, which means the Fremont Cannon did go back to Reno. The men's basketball team had 3 games this past week. They beat NAU 110-71 on Tuesday night. They lost to TCU on Friday night, but they were able to come back on Saturday night and get the win against Western Kentucky University with a final score of 71-61. Their next game is against Southern Utah University at Southern Utah University on Wednesday night. Aside from the male athletes, the UNLV women's athletes are dominating the campus. The women's basketball team has started their season flawlessly with a 5-0 record, and they play BYU in Hawaii this Friday. The women's volleyball team finished their season 23-7 overall and are headed to play Southern Utah University at the NCAA tournament on Friday, December 2nd as well. Good luck and good job to all of the athletic teams on campus. We are so proud of you. For Studio G, I'm Kaylee Kirby.
Good job, Rebels. Let's see more wins in the future.
While college sports may be fun for many, a new type of sport is becoming more popular among millennials and college students.
People across the globe come together to compete in intense competitions known as esports.
I'm just thinking I need to play better than I ever have before. I'm going to lose. I need to beat them in a way that displays everything that I can. I don't like to hold back against them too much because I feel like it's a bit disrespectful to them.
UNLV has its very own club dedicated to esports called 8-Bit, where gamers from around the campus come together every Friday to participate.
I started 8-Bit esports because 4 of my friends love playing League in the library. And after we saw how much fun we could have and how many people played League in the library, we thought we needed a centralized place for all of us to play.
The vice president of 8-Bit decided to start making an esports team for League of Legends and Super Smash Bros. Due to their rising popularity. Some tournaments offer more than $1 million in cash prizes.
With traditional sports, you need to get 10 friends to go out to play basketball. You need 12 people to play football. Video games has this unique ability where you can watch something and then recreate it right then and there, as soon as you turn on your computer.
Many gamers choose to participate in these tournaments not just for the cash prizes and glory, but to see their skills improve over time.
I love competitions, and I used to be a part of a ton of different sports, and now I just play games. What is fun?
For Studio G, I'm Nathan Asselin.
It looks like esports can be the next big thing if it continues to fill stadiums like professional sports do.
Coming up, World News with Mary Jane.
And Disney's Moana is #2 in the box office for a holiday release. Entertainment updates after the break.
Walter from Deep Thought.
My name is Bruce Gill. I'm the host of La Alternativa.
Perfect Music Radio with me, Lily.
My name is Sam, and I host Sunday Evening Jazz.
I am Rockin' Gemini.
This is Jalen Young on More Than Music Mondays.
And listen to us on the Rebel HD2.
You don't get to do an internship, you have to do an internship. It's one of the requirements for a journalism major is you have to do an internship before you can graduate.
Definitely having an internship as a requirement really helps push yourself out there and to just remind you that your graduation is coming up soon. You're going to have to need some work experience in your career. So it's really good to put yourself out there early on, and they tend to help students a lot more. So when you do a student internship, it really helps out a lot.
First, it looks overwhelming, and at first it looks like it's a lot of work, but I'll tell you what, it's the most beneficial class I've had at UNLV to date. without a doubt. You get to not only develop stories and work on your interviewing skills, your editing skills, and your shooting skills from a camera perspective, you get to work on all the equipment that's in the studio. So you're working on audio, you're working on directing, tech directing. You get to produce your own show. You can take a 30-minute newscast and make it your own. And that's really cool about Studio G. Like I said, a lot of it seems overwhelming at first, but it is by far the best class I've taken at UNLV since I've been here.
Early Friday morning, it was announced that Florence Henderson had passed away at 82 years old. She was famous for her role as Carol Brady, the mother on The Brady Bunch. She passed away from heart failure and was surrounded by her children and dearest friends. Kanye West has been released from the hospital after spending over a week there. He was initially admitted for exhaustion, but reports show that the calls to 911 was initially for his medical welfare, as reported by his doctor. Kim Kardashian has been by his side since the news broke. Before he was admitted, he had gone on rants during his concerts and abruptly canceled the rest of his tour. It's really sad to hear about Kanye West and what's been happening with him.
Yeah, but it's good that he's out of the hospital and he's getting kind of
and he has support from his friends and family, and fans are even supporting him, so that'll be good to see.
Exactly.
Over the weekend was the premiere of the anticipated Disney animated musical Moana, which grossed over $81.1 million in its first 5 days. The movie stars Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and newcomer 16-year-old Ali Cravalho, who voices the chief's daughter belonging to a Polynesian tribe. Moana is a coming-of-age adventure story set in the Pacific Islands and was inspired by Fijian, Tongan, and Samoan cultures, which is a first for Disney. The songs were written in part by Lin-Manuel Miranda, who rose to fame from the hit Broadway musical Hamilton.
Food last night and hot dogs. Ugh, last night's a blur. Hey, what did we end up watching? Was it Baby Monitor Sound of...
Something that was highly anticipated was the Gilmore Girls revival. During Thanksgiving weekend, Netflix released Gilmore Girls: A Year in the Life as 4 90-minute installments, which gave fans something to binge watch during the long weekend. The whole cast came back for the revival, which took a look at Rory visiting her mother Lorelai and other star fans like to see years after the season finale. On Wednesday, Netflix announced that subscribers now have an option to download movies and shows to watch online. It will be free of cost for members, but won't be able to download everything. Certain shows like Gilmore Girls, Friends, and New Girls aren't available to download for now. There is also some restrictions on how many titles are available to download at a time, and also the time restrictions.
That's really exciting news coming from Netflix.
Exactly.
Yeah, I can't wait to see how that's going to be a huge hit, definitely.
Exactly. I wonder what titles are actually going to be available.
I know. I hope probably like their original series that are like the ones that
are gonna. Hi, Mary Jane. Welcome back.
Hi, guys.
What do you have for World News today?
Well, a lot is going on. Let me tell you more about it. Texas Republican elector Art Cisneros says he is resigning rather than vote for Donald Trump. His decision followed a previous post in which he expressed frustration with both progressives and conservatives. He also argued that casting his vote for Trump would quote-unquote bring dishonor to God. The rest of the country's 538 electors will choose Cisneros' replacement when they convene on December 19th to officially elect Trump as president. Fidel Castro's international allies and leftist leaders from all around the globe paid their respects to the deceased Cuban ruler at a massive outdoor farewell ceremony, honoring him with an elaborate praise that cut a sharp contrast with his negative reputation in the United States. Castro will be buried Sunday morning in Santiago de Cuba, which is the island's second largest city. A massive shelter has finally been installed over the exploded reactor at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant in Ukraine. The half-shaped cylinder shelter began being moved toward the reactor on a hydraulic jack system, marking significant progress towards liquidating the remains of the world's worst nuclear accident 30 years ago. Australian researchers discovered a revolutionary change to insulin regulation in one of the nation's native animal species, the platypus. The find reveals the same hormone produced in the gut of the animal to regulate blood glucose is also produced in their venom. That hormone could be used in possible type 2 diabetes treatment. After Samsung's Note 7 and its exploding batteries turned into a manufacturing nightmare for the company, Samsung is determined to get back on track with a new device. The Samsung 8 is expected to feature top-end components like high-speed processors and 6 gigabytes of RAM. Samsung has yet to set a date to unveil its newest smartphone, but it is expected to showcase at next year's Mobile World Congress in Barcelona, Spain. Scotland will begin construction on its first eco-village for the homeless in 2017, with its residents moving in by the beginning of summer. The Edinburgh village will have 10 tiny houses that can house at least 20 people for up to 12 months. The community will offer budget advice, counseling, job training, therapy, and even education. Those are your world news headlines. I'm Mary Jane. See you next week.
Thank you, Mary Jane, for that update.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm really excited to see about the new village that's being built in Scotland.
Yeah, that's a really interesting concept that they're doing. That's really cool. And I like how it's eco-friendly too, not just a village for homeless people.
Mr. Delegati died. The fast food world is in mourning today after Big Mac creator Jim Delegati died and took with him a legacy and the secret to that special sauce. Mr. Delegati died at the age of 98. He once said, "I would never have dreamed that my creation would turn into a piece of Americana." Delegati's inspiration can be best understood in his own words about the origins of the sandwich and the ingredients as well.
From in the first place, why did you want to make a Big Mac?
I felt that McDonald's needed a large sandwich, and I actually tried for 2 years before they allowed me to try it. 2 all-beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, onions, pickles on a sesame seed bun.
I always thought it was pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun.
Could be, but I say on a toasted sesame seed bun.
Death, fans of the Big Mac requested that the burger that has become the cornerstone of fast food industry be made into its original size. McDonald's replied and said that the burger has always remained what it always has been, even after selling 900 million Big Macs every year around the world. Though the creator of the Big Mac has passed away, his passing seems to have gained interest in the famous sandwich once again, and customers seem to be eating it up.
When we come back from the break, we have more holiday pictures from our Studio G hashtag. Stay tuned to see for yourself.
And later, if you need gift ideas, this is one out of the box.
Metropolis is a 30-minute show that airs every Tuesday evening at 91.5. You're going to hear Dr. Gary Larson along with our regular contributors talking about what matters to our community. And not only what matters, but why does it matter? We look at our community as a whole, but we also pay special attention to what's happening here at UNLV because that's our home as well. So looking at our Metropolis through the lens of a radio show really gives us the unique perspective to tell a story through words and through people, and I think it makes for a great program.
As far as Studio G, at first it looks overwhelming, and at first it looks like it's a lot of work, but I'll tell you what, it's the most beneficial class I've had at UNLV to date, without a doubt. You get to not only develop stories and work on your interviewing skills, your editing skills, and your shooting skills from a camera perspective, you get to work on all the equipment that's in the studio. So you're working on audio, you're working on directing, tech directing. You get to produce your own show. You can take a 30-minute newscast and make it your own. And that's really cool about Studio G. Like I said, a lot of it seems overwhelming at first, but it is by far the best class I've taken at UNLV since I've been here.
Whether or not you celebrate the holidays, nothing can light up a feast faster than the Robindale House.
For 11 months out of the year, this is just a normal house on Robindale. But for the month of December, something magical happens.
So we started this Christmas light display to kind of bring the holiday spirit.
Mark Savard says it takes several hundred man-hours to set up the lights, and that's not including the programming.
The programming is where the insanity comes in. It takes approximately 3 to 5 hours for every minute that you see playing.
Savard says he has seen up to 40 cars parked outside his home and around 200 people last Christmas Eve.
Kids are funny because they look out the window and they call them customers. We're like, oh, we have 3 customers, or we have 10 customers.
Do you want to build a snowman? It doesn't have to be a snowman. Okay.
The hard labor that is put into the lights almost caused Robindale Road to be dark this holiday season.
And my kids they were devastated that I even considered not setting up the lights. So I think for as long as they're, in the house, I don't think I'll be able to get out of not setting it up.
Savard's creation is a gift not only for his family, but for the community as well.
The togetherness and Christmas spirit comes out a little bit more around this time. You forget about all the fights at Black Friday.
It's emotional for people. It's just something that now they're adding into their tradition, and they come by to the house on Robindale and check out the lights.
To enjoy the music with the lights, into 101.3. For Studio G, I'm Chelsea Bangle.
The Robindale House is located on 1420 East Robindale Road, and the light show will continue through the whole month of December from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. That's a really cool house. I've never seen it.
Have you ever been?
Oh,
no, you haven't.
No, I haven't seen it. Yeah, but
Me
I like going to see like the houses and going around like neighborhoods and seeing what everyone comes up with.
Exactly. If you're just tuning in, last week we asked viewers to use the hashtag UNLV holiday over the break. We wanted to see pictures of how you spent your Thanksgiving.
Over time, we've gotten various shots of how you gear up for Christmas too. Even members of our own Studio G have contributed to the fun.
If you want to see yourself on our next reveal, take a selfie picture of your pet or a group shot with your family and tag UNLV Studio, or use our hashtag. Whether you friend us on Instagram or follow us on Facebook or Twitter, we will be able to see you.
And on topic with social media, there has been recent developments with Twitter. They've begun their initiative to combat hate speech. The same day that the project began, the social media site began suspending several accounts. Studio G reporter Samantha Rose Keomalu tells us why.
Twitter suspended a number of high-profile accounts that are associated with the alt-right movement. The movement is an organized group that embraces white nationalism, differing from mainstream conservatism by breaking out online, the platform of choice being Twitter. Of those who were suspended was Richard Spencer, verified Twitter user who runs the alt-right think tank National Policy Institute and online magazine Radix Journal. Both of these organizations' accounts were suspended as well. According to the Associated Press, Spencer has stated that he believes that African Americans, Hispanics, and Jews should be removed from the United States. After publishing tweets with similar content, his accounts were suspended. Subsequently, Spencer released this statement to the Daily Caller News Foundation.
I am alive physically, but digitally speaking, there has been execution squads across the alt-right, and it is something like the Night of Long Knives. It's the Dorsey cost. I don't know what we're going to call it. It is corporate Stalinism in the sense that there is a great purge going on, and they are purging people on the basis of their views.
After Spencer spoke out, Twitter released a rebuttal claiming that, quote, "The Twitter rules prohibit targeted abuse and harassment, and we will suspend accounts that violate this policy." Twitter is considered to be a platform for free speech, the company claiming that it is, quote, "the free speech wing of the Free Speech Party." That being said, with these suspensions, many believe this to be a violation of the First Amendment. White nationalist Matt Heimblick said that the purge of alt-right accounts was politically motivated, accusing Twitter of restricting free speech. Heimblick's account was not suspended, but several of his tweets from his account were removed. Other accounts that were suspended include Paul Town, Pax Dickinson, Ricky Vaughn, and John Rivers. Twitter has suspended alt-right accounts in the past, but never so many at once. Reporting for Studio G, I'm Samantha Rose Keomalu.
Aside from suspensions of hateful speech, Twitter has created regulation tools called the Mute Words feature. This gives users the ability to mute certain words, phrases, emojis, and usernames.
When people are looking for gifts, it is rare that an animal comes to mind. But for those thinking about adopting a dog or a cat, what about a bearded dragon or a porcupine? I paid one of our local exotic pet stores a visit. Check it out.
The exotic pet store on the corner of Decatur and Smoke Ranch has over 2,500 lizards, snakes, bearded dragons, and even a porcupine. The shop was opened up by Ken, a former zoo worker who had a love for animals and just frankly didn't want a boss anymore. Over 25 years ago, since the shop has opened, they have relocated to many different parts of the Las Vegas Valley to give their animals more space. I sat down with one of the Exotic Pet Store's employees, Jim Cree, to talk a little more about the pet shop. I started by asking him the reason for the relocation.
Bigger. We needed more space. We're actually looking to maybe move and get a bigger place when our lease is up next year.
Oh, wow.
There's some stuff that's imported, but a lot of our stuff is captive bred that we get through breeders that we know that Ken has established relationships with over the years.
His love for exotics started back when he was very young. Since he started working at the shop 5 years ago, his interest in exotics has grown.
Well, I've kept reptiles since I was a little kid. I bought my first snake from Ken at the other location a long, long time ago when I was little. And I used to go in and talk to him about them. And I have Dumerils boas, a couple of them. I breed them. They're a ground boa from Madagascar. I find a lot of animals from Madagascar really very interesting.
When I asked him what he would define an exotic animal as, he simply stated,
Me personally, it would be anything that's not native to Nevada would be exotic, even if it was something from Arizona just because it's not from here. But especially when you get stuff that, like I find animals from Madagascar just fascinating.
as exotic animals, Jim suggests that the first thing you do is your homework.
Yeah, well, study. Books are better usually than just random stuff you find on the internet, because the books are written by experts in their field. Depending on what animal it is, like some stuff, like with the wallabies and whatnot, you have to get, from the Fish and Game, you have to get a non-commercial possession of non-indigenous wildlife permit. It's like $15 a year. You know, each one needs a certain humidity, certain temperatures. You know, some you have to cool off at different times of the year, and especially if you want to try to breed them. There's just, each animal has a very specific set of needs.
Stop by and check out all of the animals they have to offer. Reporting for Studio G, I'm Amber Michael.
If you're interested in adding one of these little guys to your family, you can visit their website at www.exoticpetslv.com.
It was a really cool story. How did you like going there?
It was actually really cool. I've paid the shop a few visits over the years because my brother's adopted from them, so it was actually really cool to kind of get like the inside scoop. And I didn't know that they actually had multiple locations around the valley. So
do they really?
Cool.
What was your favorite animal there?
Honestly, was probably the porcupine. I was a little scared. They asked me to like come into the exhibit with them, and I was like, I don't know about all that, but it was still very cool to get an almost up close and personal view.
Yeah, no, it looks really cool.
Yeah. Well, Rebels, that does it for today.
You can follow us on social media using UNLV Studio. And as always, tune in tomorrow at noon for more stories provided by Studio G.
We hope you have a great rest of your day. I'm Amber Michael.
And I'm Karina Perez. Thank you for watching.